If you're a fan of Star Wars, you have probably heard about the Acolyte. Yes, the series that is headed for Disney Plus under the leadership of one Leslie Headland, the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. That is an odd sort of circumstance for Lucasfilm to be using someone with that background to bring forth a new era of Star Wars set in the High Republic. And yet, there are some odd things going on behind the scenes, and we're ready now to reveal them to you. Not only will we tell you exactly what's happening, but we also have official documents, and we are ready to present them to you. All right, folks, welcome back to another video here on the WDW Pro channel. We are so pleased to have each and every one of you with us today, and we are going to be taking a look today at the issues that are happening surrounding the Acolyte, the series which is being headed up by someone who is famous or infamous for things that not many people would want to be famous or infamous for, that being Leslie Headland, brought in by Kathleen Kennedy at a time when basically Disney was not hiring anybody, that being at the height of the pandemic, but they really wanted her at Lucasfilm for some reason. Now, joining us to help us, and by the way, he is the one who discovered these documents that we are now ready to show, is Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place. Jonas, you have been on the channel twice yesterday. Now you're on again. You're on a hot streak, sir.
Yeah. Next video, let's just talk about the best place to find some churros.
Churros, pizza, whatever you want to talk about. We'll do it. We'll do it. Well, folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to those algorithms when you click it. We're talking about the notification bell. And without further ado, let's dive straight in. This is a pre-release article from thatparkplace.com. It will come out at the same time that this video debuts. And so, folks, at the time that you're watching this, it has just arrived, hot, fresh, straight to you, just like a brand new churro or a pizza out of the oven. But at the time of recording, this is pre-release information. And so, Jonas, you have prepared this document for us. It says, report, United Kingdom government threatening to dissolve Star Wars Acolyte production and seize assets. And that is quite the title. Let's read some of this article that you've written, and then I'm fascinated. I'm curious about what all this means. It says, strange things are happening with the Acolyte and its development in the United Kingdom. While we don't believe the series is canceled, continuation for a second season could already be out the window a year before release. Is trouble afoot for the television production of Star Wars The Acolyte? The government of the UK has made public notice to Lucasfilm that the Walt Disney Company entity needs to respond immediately, or it might result in severe consequences for the Leslie Headland-helmed production. Nice alliteration.
Well, thank you.
As That Park Place has covered in the past, when Hollywood studios begin the work process on a new television or film production, they create what is known as a production entity in order to facilitate legal entity accounting and take on any financing that will occur during the course of creating said television show or film. And sometimes we refer to these as shell companies. Sometimes we're using that loosely. Usually these entities receive vague or subtle names to keep away from the prying eyes of the public, who can be desperate to know more about their favorite upcoming superhero films like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was PIM Productions the second, PIM Productions 2, in the eyes of the UK government. Due to a lawsuit filed by former Acolyte producer Karen McCarthy, we know that the production entities for the show are Blue Stockings LLC in the United States and Blue Stockings Ltd in the United Kingdom. And let me say this, folks. Jonas, you're being very kind, but we knew about this before the lawsuit. Given our sources and some detective work we did, we already knew what the shell company was. But for everybody else, as we've covered in the past, UK entities are required to list the cost of their productions publicly in order to be eligible for UK tax credits. This is how we've been able to determine the exorbitant amount of money that Lucasfilm and Disney have spent trying to revive the failing Star Wars franchise. This is a little dense, folks. Hang with us. We're going to get there. This is also how we've been able to determine that Disney corporate legal is heavily involved in the setup and regulatory compliance of these production entities, which are wholly owned by Lucasfilm, itself wholly owned by the Walt Disney Company. Even for a Lucasfilm entity, the directors of record for both Blue Stockings entities are an overwhelming majority sourced from Walt Disney Company corporate legal, not Lucasfilm or Kathleen Kennedy and Hedlund herself, as some have speculated. Jonas, explain to us why that is important. Why does that give this particular production additional gravitas?
Mostly because of the accusation. There's been so much said about the production of The Acolyte that I just wanted to start on clear footing and say that this is not some small segment of the company, some rogue group of people who are fly by night just trying to get something through. This is actual Disney corporate. This is what they do all day long, is do filings, and they prepare these regulatory compliance matters to submit to the government. So this is not a Mickey Mouse operation.
And yet it is. But Jonas, so you're saying that some of the biggest individuals within the company, both Disney and Lucasfilm, that their names are on these documents?
Yes, there are people here that report directly to people on the shareholders' calls, like Mr. Gutierrez.
So nobody then is in the dark at Disney about this production? No,
this is, in fact, I can share the listing of all the people here if we wanted to do that, or we can save it for later.
We'll get to that because we are going to show the actual documents which you have come across. During the course of updating our own files on the Acolyte, I, that being Jonas, came across an unusual regulatory notice from the UK government regarding an issue with Blue Stockings Ltd. 2 weeks ago, Companies House, the United Kingdom Business Registration Authority, issued a First Gazette bulletin. Sounds important. Informing the creditors of Blue Stockings that unless cause is shown to the contrary, that the UK entity for the Acolyte would be dissolved and struck from the register, and all assets held by the company will become property of the Crown. Interestingly, this marks at least the second time in recent memory that King Charles III has become a topic of conversation regarding the Walt Disney Company. Blue Stockings has until the middle of July, so about a month and perhaps a week or two, to become compliant with UK law, or the Acolyte will switch ownership from Disney to the UK government. And of course, we have this tweet from Screen Rant letting us know that it has wrapped production and it's on target for 2024. That's what I have heard as well. And so you go on in this to talk about the issues with the Acolyte, some of the rumors that have been out there, and also to say, you know, this is a big, big deal, but we don't know exactly what this means yet. Now, my sources have said that this is coming out. They continue to say that within the last 24 hours. They have continued to say that this is a production that will come to fruition. So this will appear on Disney Plus. Now, that said, what you have uncovered is significant.
Yes.
It either means that the people behind Lucasfilm and their accounting need to get their act together because they have put the entire thing in jeopardy, which is ridiculous. Or it could mean that there is no interest from Disney to continue with the Acolyte after this very first season, and that this is essentially a one and done now, that there is nothing more to the Acolyte than what has already been put into production. Otherwise, why would they not continue with this company that they created for the UK? So Jonas, walk us through why you think this is important, and then let's get into the documents that you have.
All right. Well, basically, in researching this, and I want to say thank you to Valiant Renegade for his work on this. He couldn't be here tonight because he's a busy man. But of course, we are busy at the work of exposing truth and also, in our own way, taking Disney through the legal and financial lens of reality.
And this is an exclusive, of course. And all credit to you, Jonas. You discovered this first and brought it to our attention, and then we started thinking about which channel should cover it and all that sort of thing. So, but kudos to you for finding this.
Well, thank you. So basically, in looking over these documents, I had to research what this was because I am a United States tax professional, or at least I was before I became an investigative reporter here. So this First Gazette notice has some interesting language. Again, saying that the company will be struck off the register and dissolved in less than 2 months from the date shown above. That date being May the 23rd, very close to the anniversary of Star Wars.
Jonas, why don't we go ahead and pull up some of those documents so that the audience can see exactly what we're talking about? Some channels, they just sort of spin whatever news is given. We're here to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. We're here to actually dive into stuff and bring it forth as a very first time anybody's seen this. Jonas, let's show it.
All right. Well, here it is, ready to go. This first Gazette notice, which is the Companies House notice that goes out in the London Gazette. The Register of Companies give notice that unless cause is shown to the contrary, the company will be struck off the register and dissolved not less than 2 months from the date shown above. Upon the company's...
Jonas, I'm disappointed in you, though. You said register, and we have registrar, which is a much more enjoyable word to say. It's much more official. But Jonas, let's remind the audience that up at the top, they should see Blue Stockings Limited. That is, of course, the company that was created by Lucasfilm to be the company that would be handling the taxes and financial issues for the Acolyte so long as it is in production. And we assume that if it goes for multiple seasons, that this company would continue to exist all throughout the production run of that show.
Yes, and the last line is the last thing I'll point out from this specific document. Upon the company's dissolution, which according to this would be July 23rd, 2 months after that, May 23rd, all property and rights vested in or held in trust for the company are deemed to be bona vacantia and will belong to the crown, meaning they hand it over to King Charles III. Maybe he wants to see...
if my Latin serves me correctly, I believe bona vacantia means well vacated.
Yes.
Is that right? Yes.
That sounds about right to me. Vacancy would be the rooted word there, wouldn't it?
Yes, and bona mean good. Absolutely.
So if we look at the filings for the company, and hey, if you have any budding investigative journalists out there, you can see that this was May 23rd, which was also about the same time that the previous accounting period, was just 2 months after the previous accounting period was extended. We had our eye on this specifically because we were wanting to see what the amount that they would be writing off is. This is something we haven't covered yet. In order to receive the tax credits for shooting in the UK, you have to file an accounting disclosure, usually an annual report for each one of these entities. That is the critical piece of information that, like we said before, allows us to see how much money has been spent by Lucasfilm. Whenever Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is fully reported, which it might be, so stay tuned to that Park Place and also to the Valiant Renegade channel for that. It will show just how much money they spent making this movie.
Last we heard, I believe it was at $332 million.
In a ridiculous amount of money, putting the break-even point at an incredibly high amount, and the danger that presents to the Walt Disney Company when they are hard up
Jonas,
for cash.
Let's take a look at the other document that you've got there, the previous accounting period extended. Let's see what that is.
Yes. So this was just, this is not necessarily something where they're asking for a change. They are telling the UK government that they're changing their accounting period. Instead of ending in March 31st, it is now ending in September of this year, of last year, meaning that they probably would have ended their production in September of 2022. Now,
I see.
That would indicate that they were probably done filming at that point, or pretty close to it, or whatever they were shooting in the UK was done filming at that point.
Now, there was another document that I believe you had shown me. Which document is that one?
This is the list of people involved, the officers of this company.
Okay, I can't see that.
Oh, sorry, I switched, but I didn't switch the tab here. Sorry.
Okay.
We have Tracy Ann Birmingham, who is a Disney company employee, I do believe. Chakira Gavazi, Disney company.
I think this is all public record. We're not revealing anything that we should not reveal. This is all public government record.
Right. Russell Haywood. And right here, Rhonda Hjort, that is a Lucasfilm employee. And I'm not sure. I think that Nicholas Rush is also a Lucasfilm employee. On the United States side, it's a majority of Disney legal, corporate legal employees, and also Rhonda Hjort. So yes, this is a set of people that is well informed, well connected with the upper levels of the company. They are in that building that has all the seven dwarves holding it up in Burbank. If I were to venture a guess, they will be probably down the aisle from Bob Iger if Bob Iger
Jonas,
is in the
click
office.
Click that second document there that says View PDF, the one page, the second one, and make sure that we can show that to the audience.
Oh yes, did we not show this already?
No, we didn't have it where they could see it. So click over where you show the tab. Okay, now let's take a look at that. Walk us through that again, what this means.
All right. Sorry. This is a filing change to just say that they have changed the accounting period. They've changed
and that accounting period
case,
ends when now?
It did end March 31st of 2022, and now it ends in September 24th of 2022, indicating that they are probably striking a wider net here so that they can catch all the spending for this entity, probably ending on the 24th of September of last year. Gotcha.
Okay. And so they have until now, what is our final date that they have to come into compliance with the United Kingdom?
Well, in order to be compliant, it needs to be, according to this document,
there we go,
July 23rd of 2023.
And you come to that by reading that it's not less than 2 months from the date that you were looking at there.
Yes, and I wouldn't be cutting this close if I were the Disney company. I wouldn't want to have to go to the UK government and say, "Hey, can we please have the legal right to our footage back?"
So then let's enter into speculation for a moment, Jonas. Nothing that we've discussed thus far has been speculation. But what do you think this means? This is not typical. I think you've looked into essentially every other publicly accessible entity out there for Lucasfilm, and this is not the way that it's handled. What is the name of the lady who you were saying is with Disney, whose name is on so many of these?
Well, let's focus on the Lucasfilm employee.
Okay.
Rhonda Hjort has about 7 entities that she's a signer for.
And they're all well maintained versus this one.
Yes, this is unique to this particular entity.
Okay, so tell us what you think this means.
I think that this means that I mean, if I'm being frank, I think someone in the office probably dropped the ball, or they thought they could get away with an accounting period change, and the UK government said, "Hey, wait a minute. There may be a filing fee, or there might be some little procedural thing that the UK government didn't like," and so they automatically generated something like this.
It seems like Lucasfilm is quite sloppy.
That could be the case. Especially,
I mean, given the Karen McCarthy situation, and now they're being threatened by the United Kingdom government that they'll seize all their assets regarding this production because they're not keeping their paperwork in line. At the very least, Lucasfilm is incredibly sloppy yet again.
Right. And to add context to that, for anyone who doesn't understand, the accusation in the Karen McCarthy v. Blue Stockings, which is Lucasfilm lawsuit, the lawsuit alleges, and they show an email where Karen McCarthy, it was very urgent that they get her, and they outbid Apple to have Karen McCarthy, this very powerful, great, talented producer, to get her to come to Lucasfilm to be the showrunner, not the showrunner, but a producer on The Acolyte. And she moved heaven and earth. She was literally going to move herself to the UK for several years to work on this show that was going to be this epic space thing that was going to last for years. They had her over there, and she does 3 weeks of work, according to Karen McCarthy. And then on day one, she's told your services are no longer necessary, and they send her back to the United States.
Full disclosure, you have provided information to the attorney, the law firm representing Karen McCarthy, correct?
Yes.
Although that's a sort of a tertiary issue, but whenever that topic comes up with you involved, we do need to do a full disclosure
that's fine.
there.
That's fine. There's no great revelation on what I've been provided there. I haven't been provided any additional information that hasn't already been passed along to our audience. So
let's wrap it up here. Here's what I think is going on beyond, again, another example of Lucasfilm just operating so ridiculously shoddily. This is now 2 times when this company, this studio Lucasfilm, with this one production, have done things which have jeopardized it. You've got the Karen McCarthy issue. You have this issue now where they are weeks away from the United Kingdom seizing all assets. I don't know how likely that threat is, but it's a real threat. But what I think this means, and I don't know it for sure, because things can change and we're dealing with people and we're talking about the future. And so the future always has some uncertainty, hanging about it. I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. I have plans, but who knows? There could be something that comes up. And so the same is true with Lucasfilm. But I think what this probably means is that there's not interest in continuing with the second season. Otherwise, I don't know why they would be acting in such a way as to present this company in the United Kingdom that runs all of this looking like it's shutting down. So I don't know why they would be doing that if they intend to have a second season. And for me, at least, I think this is a one and done. I don't know if they've talked about doing a second season, but at this point, I think we can probably put that to bed. And given what we know about who's running it, given what we know about the story behind it, given what we know about them bringing in even, what's the word here? Jonas, what's the word for the people who come in when you're dealing with romantic scenes?
Oh, intimacy coordinator. Yes.
Intimacy coordinators. That's right. Given what we know about this production, I think it's safe to say it's a good idea to not go any farther. One season will be just plenty for Star Wars fans. Jonas, where can people find you on this great, big, beautiful web out there if they want more of this fantastic journalism that you do?
Well, you can find this article on That Park Place if you want to dig into it and see everything that we said about it, even some unusual sources that seem to confirm how much money that Disney is spending on it. You can find me on my YouTube channel with my name, Jonas J. Campbell, right there on it. Or you can see me on the Pro Show on Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where I would love to talk about some of the other productions that have also appear to have some, sloppy does seem like a good word for a company that keeps remaking their own movies several times before they hit theaters.
I have a feeling we'll be talking about that very soon. Folks, if you've not yet subscribed to Jonas content, make sure you do so. It is fantastic stuff, as you can see here. Again, this is a very first exclusive that we're bringing to you, the United Kingdom threatening Lucasfilm to take all the assets from the Acolyte if they don't get their act together. Who knows what's actually going on with Lucasfilm in this situation? At the least, we can say not even Lucasfilm probably knows what Lucasfilm is doing at this point. But folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know. Is this the kind of video you enjoyed? Did you appreciate the information we brought forth? And what do you think is going to happen with the Acolyte? Is it real? Is it not real? Is it coming? Is it a one and done? We'd love to hear what you have to think. And also, folks, if you're not yet a member of this channel, consider it. It's the price of a soda, and that's just one time a month, and you get all kinds of exclusive content. The 20K, that's 20,000 subscribers celebration, is this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
I just found out how to get WDW Pro's information, where he gets his sources. I can't believe he uses Wilton.
What's
We got a job to do. It's easy to hack into WDW Pro's computer.
You're kidding me. That's awesome. You know any other stuff?
Yeah, just Jonas Campbell told me.
Sweet.
Said Pro underpaid him or something.
A few minutes later.
There. Oh, awesome. Whatever. All I gotta do is
Whoa.
hack into this thing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah, this isn't
All
a
right,
hack.
grab this picture over here.
Leave it to me.
Oh, no. Oh, Wilson.
Job done. What?
No, all we had to do was use the picture because he uses face unlock. Now we gotta go to thatparplace.com and sub to him and his team on YouTube.
Oh, well, I already did that because I'm smart.